Tonight we're going to continue reading Morris Gleitzman, Boy Overboard, starting at chapter 19, possibly doing 19, 20 and 21 because they are pretty small chapters. I am a little bit tired, so I'm going to work really hard at accuracy. The plane's taking off. We should be excited because it's our first flight. We should be delighted because we're safe and together. We should be happy because we're on the way to Australia. But we're not. We're just sitting here in silence. Well, not complete silence, because the engines are roaring and most of the seats and wall panels and overhead cupboards and lights are rattling. But we're not saying anything. Next to me, Mum's got her eyes closed, and in front of us, Dad's got his arm around Bibi, but he's staring out of the window. It's dark outside and there are no explosions or tracer bullets visible, so I'm not sure what he's looking at. He's probably having the same sad thoughts as me about leaving our home and our friends and our candlestick. To take my mind off the candlestick, I try to imagine what Yusuf is doing now. Sleeping probably, dreaming about his soccer ball in pieces. This makes me feel even sadder. When I arrive in Australia, I'm going to get a part-time job and buy Yusuf the best soccer ball in the world and send it to him. I'll decorate it so the government thinks it's an inflatable prayer mat. And I'll send Yusuf's grandfather some Dolly Parton cassettes hidden in the Australian landmine boxes. What was that? One of the overhead cupboard doors just fell off in all this bumping and jolting. Old planes like this can't take it. I'm sitting next to a window like Dad, but I'm not looking out. It's too scary. Taking off in an ancient plane without our ancestors. Lots of other passengers sound scared as well. They're praying out loud. I don't blame them. They probably had to sell their candlesticks to buy their tickets too. I think about the crew on this plane. They were pretty thoughtless before we took off, going on about oxygen masks and life jackets and emergency brace positions to a bunch of people who are feeling very nervous anyway. Oh, as the plane goes up, your insides go down. That can't be healthy, especially for older people like Mum and Dad. It could strain their hamstrings. Mum's knuckles are white as she grips the edge of her seat. I put my hand on hers. It's okay, Mum, I say. The plane's safer than it looks. The machine guns and rockets are in a secret compartment. If we're attacked, they'll pop out automatically. It's a passenger plane, Jamal, says Mum, without opening her eyes. Passenger planes don't have machine guns and rockets. I've got a horrible feeling she's right. I couldn't see any weapons as we got on the plane. And I've looked at the safety card in the seat pocket, and none of the drawings show a single machine gun or rocket. I can't believe it. A plane this size must have cost millions. It's a disgrace to try and save a few dollars by leaving off the weapons. Bibi turns around in her seat. It's probably got bombs, she says. I sigh. Bibi means well, but sometimes she makes things worse. This is a passenger plane, I say, partly to her, but mostly so Mum can hear. Passenger planes don't leave their scheduled flight paths and go off on bombing raids. Not when they haven't got a machine gun or rockets to defend themselves against anti-aircraft fire. Now, I can't imagine as a young person even thinking about things like that. Bibi sticks her tongue out at me. Mum still has her eyes closed, but she looks a bit more relaxed now that I've put her mind at rest. As the plane lurches on into the night, I realise this is what we are going to have to do from now on. With no candlestick to look after us, we're going to have to look after each other. The smugglers are being really unfair. They keep us shut up in a hot, stuffy house for ages, with only one meal of noodles a day, and they keep us standing on the dockside for almost a whole night. They don't seem to realise the danger we're in. One look at Dad's face would tell them. Dad, I say, do you think the government has sent spy planes after us? No, Jamal, he says, putting his arm around me. Don't worry, son. We're a long way from the government now. But he glances up at the sky. I know what he's really saying. We won't be safe until we get to Australia, and then we can relax. The Australian government will look after us. A government that lets girls play soccer is much too fair to allow bullying. I can't wait to get there. The really frustrating thing is our boat to Australia is so close. Just the other side of that fence. Well, there's boats actually, 2 of them, which is just as well. There are hundreds of us in this compound. We definitely wouldn't fit on just one. Not with those big fishing nets taking up half the decks. I wish their wooden sides weren't quite so splintery. They look like they've spent the last 20 years lying in the desert after a battle. Mum, says Bibi, which one's our boat? Mum takes a deep breath. It's for the millionth time that Bibi has asked that. For a second, Mum looks like she's going to grab Bibi's headcloth and strangle her with it. And then, because she's a great mum, she remembers. We've been travelling for ages, and Bibi's only 9, and the poor thing's got an itchy rash under her arms. Come here, Flower, says Mum. Let me blow on it to cool it. They'll tell us which is our boat soon, says Dad. You kids are being great. Be patient a bit longer. All around the compound, other kids are nagging their parents. They've probably been shut up and in the house for days too. Be patient a bit longer, the parents are all saying to them. I can't understand all the languages, but you just know. And I can tell from the anxious look on the parents' faces that they are worried about spy planes like us. Dad, I say, are you sure we'll fit on those 2 boats? I hope it sounds like a request for information rather than a nag. Don't fret, says Dad. It'll be fine. But I can see he's looking anxious and wondering, like me, just how many cabins can fit under the decks of 2 not very big fishing boats. Stop worrying, I tell myself. All these families here have paid for this trip. We all had to show our tickets to the smugglers at the compound gate. They're not going to leave any of us behind. I try to take my mind off worrying by watching the boats bob up and down in the water. I love the way they do that. I've never seen big things floating before. The creaking kind of gets on your nerves a bit, but the bobbing looks so great. And the sea, it's bigger than the desert. In fact, in this dawn light, it looks rather like a desert. I'm glad it's not. I'd rather be going to Australia on a fishing boat than on a camel. Dad, says Bibi, when can we get on the boat? Come on, I say to Bibi, bouncing the ball on her head before Mum and Dad go mental. Soccer practice! There's not a lot of room with so many people standing around, but we find some space and do some passing and tapping and trapping. Just use the side of your foot, I say to Bibi. No big kicks. People are staring at her. They've probably never seen a girl play soccer before. The kids' eyes are wide with amazement, and some of the adults look shocked. It makes me very proud of her. The sad thing is nobody's joining in. We could have a great game in this compound. Teams and everything. Hang on. Someone's joining in now. He's tackling me really hard. Oh, no. I don't believe it. It's a boy who tried to steal my ball in the camp. I tackle him hard in return, get the ball back from him, and flip it into my hands. Hey, he says, that's my ball. No, it's not, I say, gripping the ball tight. Is this your family? Says the boy, pointing to Bibi. Yes, she says, eyes flashing. Then that's my ball, he says the boy. Agreed payment. I am outraged. You did not take me to my family, I yell at him. You went running off after the United Nations. Bibi pulls off her headcloth and takes a step towards the boy. Even though I'm furious, I watch her anxiously. When Bibi takes off her headcloth, she usually ends up throwing punches. Listen here, donkey snot, Bibi yells at the boy. That's Jamal's ball. He's had it for 2 years. See that patch? I helped stick it on. We cut it out from the back seat of our dad's taxi. I hope Dad can't hear us. The boy is staring at Bibi as if he has never seen a girl like her before, and he probably hasn't. He lunges, not at Bibi, at me. He grabs a ball. I hang on to it. We both pull. He's not stronger than me, but he's not weaker either. He can't get the ball from me, but I can't get it from him. The boy looks over his shoulder at Bibi. You can have the ball, he says to her, if you'll be my girlfriend. Bibi gives him a look that would scorch the paint off a tank. She hitches up her skirt and runs at the kid and kicks him in the leg. Ow, he screams and staggers backward, dragging the ball and me towards him. I fall on top of him. The ball bounces near us. The boy grabs at it. No, you don't, yells Bibi, and she gives the ball a huge kick. It soars over the heads of all the people and over the compound fence. The people all gasp. The ball bounces off the side of one of the boats and disappears between the boat and the dock. Suddenly, everyone around us is moving. For a second, I think they're rushing to get the ball. And then I see the smugglers have opened the gate to the boats. It's time to get on board. That must be why everybody gasped. I forced all thoughts of the ball out of my head. Already people are streaming through the gate and onto the boats. I grab Bibi and push between the people who are still getting their belongings together. Mum, I yell, Dad! Finally I spot them, trying to wait for us, but they're being carried through the gate by the crush of people. Mum sees us. She points us out to Dad. They hold up our rucksacks and wave frantically at us to come to them, and that's what I try to do. By the time Bibi and I get through the gate, Mum and Dad aren't that far away. They're struggling against the crowd, which is pushing them slowly southwards towards the furthest boat. And then Bibi pulls out her hand out of mine. I'm going to get the ball, she says. Before I can stop her, she's squirming through the crowd towards the other boat. Bibi, I scream, no! I fling myself through the clamouring bodies towards her. By the time I finally reach her, she's lying on her stomach at the edge of the dock, jabbing down into the water with a long stick. She's trying to reach the ball, which is bobbing on the water between the boat and the dockside. Leave it, I yell, grabbing her arm and pulling her. We'll lose Mum and Dad. She glares up at me tearfully. If we lose the ball, she says, we won't get to do our plan. We won't get to be soccer stars and form a new government and go home. I stare at her, torn. Part of me knows she is right. The other part is desperate to get moving. I can make a new ball out of cardboard, I say, dragging her away from the edge of the dock. I've done it before, and even if I say it, I know it's not the same. Then somebody snatches the stick out of Bibi's hand. It's the boy's. I'll get it, he said. We'll go harms. Before I can move, the boy slips over the side of the dock and disappears. I drag Bibi to the edge and stare down, horrified. The boy is crouched inside one of the big tires that are hanging off the concrete wall. He's reaching down for the ball with a stick. Is he mad? If the boat bumps into the dockside, he'll be crushed. Watch out, I yell. I'm okay, he replies. I've done a lot of fishing. And then he slips and he tries to get his balance, but he can't. He gives a howl and tumbles into the water. Help, I scream at the people milling around me. There's a kid in the water. Nobody is listening. They're all busy getting onto the boats. Bibi thumps a couple of people trying to get their attention, but they ignore her. I look around wildly for a smuggler or a sailor or even a policeman. Nothing, just desperate people. And we'll leave it there and we'll finish it tomorrow. So we've got just a little bit of chapter 21 left, and then we'll go to 22. So boy over.